Hello, my name's Mark and these are my dice sales, and this is just a hobby update. Hopefully a short video of what I've been doing in the last 3 months. 4 months maybe, according to YouTube, might have just ticked over. Anyway, so when I left, I've been heavily getting into 3D printing. I started this whole YouTube thing for getting confidence, talking, not erring and things like that, and being creative, learning a new skill with the videos and the cameras and things like that. And I wanted to see where it took me, and it took me to 3D printing, that took me to sculpting. I'm really enjoying that. So yeah, that's a reason for anyone to jump onto YouTube. Get that out of the way. Number 2. My last video was one-page rules. Now they were doing some rules tweaks and things like that, so I've just put them aside for the time being. But all the models that I'm going to show you are fully compatible with that game anyway. But I will be visiting that again. I'm especially probably going to jump in when they do a more full release of their Sellswords skirmish game, but I will be playing the battle game as well. Around about November time, when I went AWOL from YouTube, this game came out, this expansion came out, Lion Rampant, Vikings in the Sun. It is very similar to, it's exactly the same, but different. Different topic. This is like Crusader States, is what I'm trying to say. But this one is about the life and times of Harold Hardrada, is that how you say his name? But not his invasion of England in 1066 and the Battle of Stamford Bridge and such like that. Instead, it's Vikings, it's Harold, but his teenage years until, I don't know when it was, but he was exiled as a teenager, and he went around being like a mercenary in the Mediterranean, selling himself as bodyguards to Egyptians and Muslims and I don't know, Romans maybe. This is pre-Crusades and looks very cool. I'll probably do a flip through and talk about it more in another video. What it prompted me to do was get 2 armies ready. I did buy some Germanic Viking looking people. I was thinking of sort of Romans versus Vikings, things like that, and barbarians. But when I printed them out, a bit like Rampant and Splintered Lights, there's like a scale difference to everything else that I've got. So instead, I've gone with a fantasy version of the armies in those books. By that, I mean this. We have here my Viking army. This is the army suggested in the book for the Vikings. At the front there, the guy with the big axe and the horns. So Vikings don't have horns, but Chaos Men warriors do. And these look the most Viking-y to me. So we've got the elite infantry, heavy infantry. They're all scattered about a bit. That's to show you off the basing. I'll talk about that in a moment. Some skirmishers. They're actually Bretonnian skirmishers, so they don't look very Viking-y, unfortunately. Heavy infantry with bows. I think that's a new rule. You can get heavy infantry with heavy cavalry with bows. I think that's a new rule in the book. And elite cavalry. The guys at the back there who look incredibly menacing. And just a point about the basing. So I've got 3 men to 1 base, 2 men to a base, and 1 man to a base. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you do that twice, you end up where all the units in Lion Dragon Rampant are 6 strength or 12 strength. And when you take a casualty, if I take 2 casualties, I take that base off. Take 1 casualty, I take that guy off, and vice versa. When it gets down to 1 man, just bring the 1 man back, things like that. And if you double that up, you'll have your 12 strength. The heavy infantry here, I've got more individuals in this one because likely going to be playing them in 5 Keeps from the Borderland, other dungeony games, skirmish games, things like that. So that is Harold Hardrada's army. It said he commanded 500 men. So that's not 500 men, we'll get to that in a moment. Here is the Muslim army, nicely being presented, by the High Elves, Noble Elves, Forest Dragons, Noble Elves. We've got 3 cavalry units here. We've got 2 light cavalry, 1 with javelins. So again, the Bretonnians are standing in for 1 of those units. And then we've got the Elven Reavers. If we go further back, do we get more focus? I do not know. Anyway, and then we've got the sort of Silver Helm type cavalry as elite cavalry. And then at the back there we've got some elite archers. They're the last unit to be painted. We have light infantry and ferocious infantry, the swordsman unit at the back. So both of the armies now have just the archer units to paint, and then ready for the table. Table time. Something that, 3D printing and resin printing, if you go down a resin printer, you will be interested, or most likely interested, in Warmaster, or it will get you interested in Warmaster and it'll be a thing that you pick up. This is my Warmaster army. This is the High Elf army, so it's these units are scaled up to make my High Elf army that I've just shown you. These are them in strips and in 10mm. Stop wiggling. Rightio. So we've got that Spearman unit. That's actually 12 bases of Spearmen. So imagine that as a Dragon Rampant army. Every time you lose a strength point, you take off one of these bases. That's 10 men. That's a bit epic. We've got the Dragon Rider, we've got Eagle Riders, Eagles and Eagle Riders, Silver Helm Cavalry in small. They look very pretty and paint up very well and very quickly. I do have the Reavers done. I need to do more archers. I've only got one row of archers at the back, and then we've got some individual heroes here. There are more models in the range. There is what else? The chariots and wizards and such like that, but that's the majority. That's what they look like. That's tiny 10mm scale. My local club is getting geared up to pick this up, so I'm looking for a game soon. And these use the same bases. These are 2x4 bases that I'm using for my 15mm as well. So I can play a variety of games with them. Fantastic Battles is the other one, which is, instead of using three units, only uses 2, so you get it to 4x4 base. So that's going to be another thing I would like to visit. My final project. We're nearing the end of the video now. Wow, wow, wow. I love these guys. I've been procrastinating on painting these guys for so long. But then, there was a tip. If you're procrastinating, have 2 jobs on the go at once. When you don't want to do one, do the other. And I got around to these little guys. So I was worried about painting them. And I slapped on some white paints on one of my procrastination days. Then covered it in skeleton bone contrast paints, and that gives it this rusted type look. And then threw another layer of contrast on top for like the bonnets or the slime team. So the slime team's got the wagon and then the flamethrower. This is the Rutherford team, the sort of police team. Need a weapon for that truck. And the more sciencey team with boosters and the fast cars. Idris, is it? I like Idris. Idris and Slime are my 2 favourite teams, I think. And that is Gaslands. Looking forward to getting that to the table sometime soon. And there's more Gaslands on the way. It does get horribly addictive. So there's that. So that is what I've been up to in the last 3 months. So 3D sculpting, very much a great new hobby of mine. Bum bum bum. Yeah, that's it. That's me, Mark's Dice Tales. Do I sign off? Anything else to say? There was that little known influencer, Joy of Wargamer. He's prompted me to pick up Fistful of Lead, Million Mites. I liked his video on it. I like sort of what I'm reading. Don't know when I'm going to get around to that one. I've still got a backlog of other games. My Pull Pallies, Burrows and Badgers still haven't got played. We just keep cancelling games on that. So sometime soon. Even though I've been looking for work, I try to get more frugal. But I had things on pre-order. So Silver Bayonets has arrived. That's Napoleonics, but again, I'm probably going to be using my fantasy, the Empire units, because they've got guns and dwarves have guns. So they'll be representing my Napoleon forces. And then it's versus undead mostly, it's sort of supernatural things. So that will be on the table. More one-page rules. All these units are compatible, and multi-base, single base. It's a good thing. That is, yeah, going to leave it at that. I think that's a good way to leave it. Flip through this soon, game of this soon, then revisit all the games. That is the plan in my head, always subject to change. 5 Feelings of Borderland as well arrived. That's that awesome 5 parsecs game, but in fantasy. It's a little bit different, a lot of the same, but a little bit different. So I'll have to talk about that one day soon. Thank you for watching Mike's Dice Tales. It's been great having you here. Almost at 500 subscribers. And brilliant. And thanks for the shout out from Joy of Wargaming. Recommending the channel. thanks a lot for that. That's been awesome. See you on the next video. Goodbye.